Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English Podcast Academy, where we help you improve your English through listening, comprehension, and engaging discussions. I'm Becca, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Ron and Jessica.
I'm excited for today's episode. It sounds like we've got a pretty interesting story lined up.
Can't wait to get into it with you all. We're going to have some fun discussions today.
All right, so today's story is about a family struggling with boundaries, privacy, and a lot of tension. So sit back and let's dive right in. Our story comes from a frustrated parent who is trying to manage the difficult dynamics in a blended household. The speaker, let's call him Mark, is a father to a 16-year-old daughter named Zoe. A few months ago, Mark's brother-in-law, Sammy, moved in with them after his divorce, bringing along his twin daughters, Olivia and Sloane, who are 18. They're cousins with Zoe, but they're not very close. They all live under the same roof now, a home that's a bit on the smaller side, so space and privacy have become big issues. Zoe, Mark's daughter, loves makeup and fashion. She's a bit reserved and prefers keeping her belongings organized and personal, but Olivia and Sloane don't seem to have the same boundaries. They often wander into Zoe's room and borrow or take her things without asking. Sometimes it's makeup, clothes, or even her school laptop. Each time, Zoe gets frustrated and asks them to stop, but her mother and Sammy brush it off, saying it's normal teenage behavior. Things really escalated, though, when Zoe spent over a month saving up to buy a $60 makeup kit, a brand called MAC, known for its quality and, well, price. She was so excited about it, but one day, Sloane borrowed it without asking and ended up ruining the colors by mixing them up. Zoe was devastated and ended up crying over it. Mark was furious and got Zoe a lock for her bedroom door to protect her things. But Sammy wasn't happy at all, claiming his daughters weren't thieves and that it was normal for teenage girls to borrow each other's things. Sammy even went as far as to say that Zoe didn't need adult makeup and suggested that Mark was being overprotective. This led to a huge argument where Mark's wife took her brother Sammy's side, saying that Mark should take off the lock to allow the girls to bond. Mark refused, saying the lock stays until Sammy and his daughters find another place to live. Since then, everyone in the house has been giving Mark and Zoe the silent treatment. So, Ron, Jessica, what do you two think so far?
Well, it's kinda intense, right? I mean, from Mark's point of view, I get why he'd want to protect Zoe. But maybe putting a lock on the door was a bit extreme.
I don't know. Honestly, it sounds like these girls are really pushing boundaries, and if Sammy isn't seeing the problem, I think Mark needed to step in somehow. I'd be upset too if someone ruined something I saved up for.
Yeah, I get that, but still, a lock could make things tense. I guess it's tough since Sammy and the girls are going through a rough time too.
All right, let's finish the story and see where it goes. Mark's decision to buy Zoe a lock has caused even more tension. Sammy's daughters feel offended and complain that they're being treated like outsiders. Zoe, meanwhile, has become even more withdrawn, avoiding her cousins entirely. The living situation has everyone on edge, and Mark's wife worries that her family will resent her husband for making them feel unwelcome. At the same time, Mark feels caught between being a supportive husband and a protective father. He didn't want to offend Sammy, but he also feels that Zoe deserves her space. Mark even tried to talk to his wife's parents to see if they'd take Sammy in, but they weren't willing to. He feels like he's the only one setting boundaries and wonders if it's worth all this tension. Is he being too protective, or is he the only one seeing the impact this is having on Zoe?
Whoa, yeah, this is complicated. You've got family obligations on one side, but at the same time, it's really unfair for Zoe to lose her sense of safety at home.
I feel for Zoe, honestly. She's just a teenager, and it sounds like she's doing her best to handle it. And, I mean, Olivia and Sloane are 18, they're adults. I feel like they should have a bit more responsibility.
True, but I still think Mark's wife might feel torn because Sammy is her brother, and she wants to support him too.
All right, that's some great insight from both of you. Now, let's turn it over to our listeners. We'd love to hear what you think.
Have you ever been in a similar situation with family members overstepping boundaries? If so, what did you do about it?
Yeah, and how do you recommend Mark and his family handle this moving forward? Should they keep the lock or try a different approach?
Do you think Mark is overreacting? Or is he right to stand firm on Zoe's privacy?
What about Sammy and his daughters? Do you think they should be making more of an effort to respect Zoe's space?
And one more, what would you do if you were in Zoe's position? Comment below with your thoughts.
Alright, listeners, before we wrap up, here's a quick quiz to check your comprehension and vocabulary skills. What did Zoe buy that got ruined? A phone accessory, a makeup kit, or a school laptop? The correct answer is a makeup kit.
What did Mark do to help Zoe protect her belongings? He asked Sammy to leave? He bought her a lock? Or did he give her money to buy a new kit? The correct answer is, he bought her a lock.
What does Sammy believe about his daughter's behavior? It's typical of teenage girls. They need to apologize. They are acting irresponsibly. The correct answer is, it's typical of teenage girls.
Why is Mark's wife upset with him? He isn't being respectful to Sammy? He's treating her family unfairly? Or is he too lenient with Zoe? The correct answer is, he's treating her family unfairly.
Who is giving Mark and Zoe the silent treatment? Only Sammy and his daughters? Only Mark's wife? Or Sammy, his daughters, and Mark's wife? The correct answer is Sammy, his daughters, and Mark's wife. Great job, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to English Podcast Academy. We'll see you next time.